Roasting History, where we recreate a bunch of historically accurate dishes while roasting history. Today we are going to try 6 different dishes from the Titanic, spanning from third-class dishes all the way to first-class dishes. And we're going to talk about the tale of Charles Joughin, who was rumored to be the last person off the Titanic that lived to tell his tale. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna try here is this calamari and Scotch marinara sauce. So it's a common appetizer for all 3 classes.
Cheesecake Factory and Red Lobster.
And I have to warn you, they did say that this marinara sauce is different from other marinara sauces because it's supposed to be spicy. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
First off, that is pretty spicy.
The calamari literally sucks, but like the sauce is kind of bussin'. This dish here is every spicy white guy you have ever known in your life, okay?
This is literally the Chet Hanks dish. If you're a spicy white guy, this is for you.
This is like the luxury version of chips and salsa at Chili's. I bet your asses that all the other girls in the Titanic was eating this dish while they were talking about Rose and Jack. They're like, why is she dating him? Like, does he even know how to read? Maybe he doesn't know how to read, but like, he can eat. So like, that would be me if I was Rose.
I'm gonna give this dish an official Bryce rating. 5 out of 10. It would be a 4, but I feel like with better calamari, it would be pretty decent.
All right, so let's start our story about Charles Joughin, who was the lead baker on the Titanic, who was rumored to be the last person off the ship that survived to tell his tale. Charles was born in 1878 to a family of seamen. So he starts working on ships ever since he's like 11 years old, right? He's just like, look, I was made from seamen, by seamen. I want to be the ultimate seaman. I love seamen.
All right, we get it. You don't have to say.
Seamen.
Why did you have to do the Mario? Woohoo! He was
Mamma mia, seaman.
I love a seaman. Wahoo! It's a me, seaman.
Okay, so anyways, back to our story. So he starts working on ships at the age of 11, doing various different tasks, and that eventually gets him a job on the Titanic as the lead baker. He was like, look, I might be the ultimate seaman, mamma mia.
Oh my god.
But I'm also good at cream pieing, so what do you say? And the Titanic people were like, bet, okay, like we could use 2 because we also love seamen that knows how to cream pie, right? So anyways, let's fast forward to the fateful night of April 14th, 1912. Charles is fast asleep in his cabin. You know, he's probably dreaming about, oh my God, like, what creamy substance am I gonna dip my baguette in tomorrow, you know, for his job. And all of a sudden, he's awakened by a huge commotion of people outside his cabin. So he wakes up, he's just like, it's probably those wretched, illiterate Irish people that I hate because it's 1912 and I'm British and racist towards Irish people. So let me go investigate what this is, but it's probably their drinking Guinness again. So he gets up and he walks outside of his cabin and tries to find out what the is happening. And he walks out there and it's just a disarray of confusion, okay? There's women out there, no corsets, titties jiggling, screaming at the top of their lungs. There's men asking their wives what's going on, per usual, so nothing changed for them. And through all of it, Charles eventually finds out that something has happened to the Titanic. No one really knows what's going on, but everyone's trying to evacuate. And Charles was like, oh, maybe it wasn't just a bunch of women screaming after a drunken night on the Titanic. Maybe I should investigate this for myself, but I know exactly what I need to do. And that brings us to our next food break.
Whoa, I wonder what Charles is gonna do. I also wonder what's going on the Titanic, because we haven't revealed what's wrong with it yet.
So first we're going to try this beet and apple salad. This was common among, I think, second class on the Titanic. So let's try it. I've never had a beet before. I know Bryce is gonna hate this one, but we have to do it for history. Chugga chugga choo choo. Who wants to be a big seaman? Oh, seaman, seaman. Okay, let me try mine. It tastes like a garden, okay? You're going down on Earth. Okay. You're motorboating Earth. That's what this tastes like. Exactly. Yeah. It could be tastier if there was more like seasoning, and there was more like sugar in here, you know? Honestly, this is the type of where like they would just sprinkle some canned mandarins on top of it, and then they would call this like Asian Heritage Month at your dining hall. Okay?
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. It's gross. It feels like I'm eating a bush.
So our next dish here is a consommé soup, okay? And apparently it's just supposed to be like a clear veggie broth. So let's try it.
Let me get a little bit of the soup. Bloop. All right, ready?
And go.
It's okay. It tastes like something that they would make you drink before you get like a colonoscopy. This is the type of dish you would eat on day 1 of your new diet that's supposed to go for 50 days.
Yeah. No, dude, this is the type of that the girls with BBLs and Ozempic eat, and they try to attribute it to like this instead of their BBLs, you know?
The comments are like, wow, you lost 30 pounds in a week and your ass got way bigger. She's like, yeah, it was this consommé, dude. Yeah, so 3 out of 10 for that one. It's fine.
Okay, so let's get back to our story. So at this point, Charles is in this huge group of disarray. No one knows what the he's doing. Titties jiggling everywhere, everyone's screaming. He's like, look, I don't know if this boat is actually gonna sink or there's anything wrong with this, because this is, you know, the unsinkable boat.
Why would they call it that if it's not unsinkable?
Exactly. But he's like, look, I don't know what's going on, but I guess I can help with what I know best, which is how to shove a bunch of huge girthy baguettes down these bitches' throats so they can shut the up and I can go back to sleep. So that's what he does. So he takes his group of bakers and all the people from downstairs all the way upstairs where everyone's evacuating, and he brings a bunch of baguettes and passes them out to people that are evacuating the boat and freaking out to try to keep them calm. He's like, you get a baguette, you get a baguette, not you, bitch. Ooh, damn, bitch, like, no, you get a girthy one. And then he's like, look at me being a really good employee. Like, they're better give me a pizza party or a raise after I do this shit. But look, I'm gonna reward myself for what I did tonight. So he does that by going down to his cabin and drinking a whole bottle of liquor. You know, he's taking Jaeger shots. He's throwing it back. You know, he's twerking on the walls. He's reminiscing that one night with that hot chick from 1908. At this point, he's like full-blown Jack Sparrow in like the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, okay? And he's like, damn, I'm drunk as I literally don't even know which one is my right hand anymore, but I hear all these people yelling. Like, is there actually something going on? So he stumbles back upstairs and tries to find out if the boat is actually sinking. He's like, damn, the Titanic just hit a huge iceberg and we're actually sinking. Like, maybe those Karens were right. Are we gonna die? And so here's what he does next. And before we get to that part, let's take a food break. So next here we have salmon in mousseline sauce. I don't know what a mousseline is. It seems citrusy, it seems buttery. Wow. I've never really cooked salmon in those ingredients. So let's bite in. Ready? Cheers. 1, 2, 3. Yep.
That was really good.
That's good.
Like, look, people say size doesn't matter, but you need a big hunk of meat right in the middle of these dishes. I'm gonna give this one an official Bryce rating of 9 out of 10.
Oh.
I feel like this dish is like, you ever see one of those dudes who he's kind of ugly, but then he gets a girlfriend and he gets a lot more attractive as she like teaches him how to dress and stuff like that. The salmon is the dude and the sauce around it is the girlfriend that teaches him how to dress. I would suck this down. You know what I mean? But the salmon by himself, pass.
Yeah, dude, this is like Pete Davidson after Ariana Grande. You know what I mean? Next, we have this curried chicken.
Ooh, this looks good.
This was a common dish for the second class people on the Titanic. So, it's Indian inspired, but I'm gonna warn you, it's not, they didn't really include most of the herbs and stuff that I would normally put in a curry. So I'm a little skeptical about this one, but let's try it. All right, cheers. Okay. Okay.
That's not bad. This is the type of dish that will make you Chet Hanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good, but you can tell that there are some missing notes in here. Like, the balance is a little off.
I think that this reminds me of you at corporate in that it's like ethnic, but trying really hard to appease white people.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of me at corporate in that it feels like it's doing just enough to get by. Nobody can complain. Okay, yeah, it is curry. And it's not that bad. All right. But it's not outstanding. It's clocking out at 4:45. It's taking a 1 hour lunch. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A little 10-minute, 15-minute TikTok break, okay? This guy's getting his TikTok breaks in, but he's doing his work, you know? It's not bad.
All right, so let's get back to our story now.
All right, where were we at?
So at this point, Charles is on deck, and again, there's just this huge group of confused people screaming, pushing, yelling as if they're, you know, a bunch of K-pop stans on a BTS concert. And Charles is just like, oh shit, is this ship going down?
Down, 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 sugar, we're going down, swinging. Was he singing that?
Yeah. Keep in mind, Charles at this point is as drunk as a millennial at Chili's on Veterans Day sales, you know?
He's literally as drunk as a millennial after they get off Goofy's last ride at Disney World.
Yeah. Plastered, okay? And he sees that there's these men that are pushing women and children out of the way to save their own asses, and he's just like, look, I might be drunk and poor and the ultimate seaman, but I will be damned if I let these rich, ratchet rich men push these women and children out of the way to save their own asses. So at that point, he turns on all the alcohol in his body to sport mode because he becomes like a RoboCop TSA agent. And he's just like, women and children, over here, men, f off, you, in that boat. Damn, girl, is there a bomb in your corset? Because there's an explosion in my pants. Just kidding, you can get into this boat. And so he does this until he finds out that, there's no more lifeboats. But look, if I die, I'm gonna die the way an ultimate seaman would. In a body of liquids, hoping that I can cling on to life. So I need to prepare myself for that. So do you guess what he does next to prepare himself?
Like maybe some stretches and breathing exercises and...
Wrong! He goes and drinks some more in his cabin. He's just taking it back. He's double fisting 2 different drinks at the same time.
He's doing a beer bong from the top of the Titanic to the bottom.
Yeah.
He's like shotgunning wine somehow.
He continues to drink until he is like almost blackout drunk. You know, he's reminiscing about how he might die without even doing butt stuff for the first time. Coming to terms with what he needs to do to save his life until all of a sudden he hears what he sounds like a buckle, which is the ship like splitting in half. And he's like, oh. So before we finish the rest of the story, let's move on to our last dish here, the dessert, which is honey crepes. So on the Titanic, their crepe station was kind of like an ice cream station where there's like a bunch of toppings, and then you could, you know, put whatever you want on there, sprinkles. But they said that the most common ways was with some honey and some whipped creams.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Look, it's a good dish, okay? It's creamy.
Ooh.
It's gushy. It's
Gushy.
whoppy.
Whoppy.
It's thin. This is like the European version of like what they think we eat at State Fair. Where I'm like, you gotta add a couple more 1,000 calories to this.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah, this is what Europeans think a dessert is. This is borderline healthy in America.
This will be on the Skinnylicious menu at IHOP. As an American, you would eat this instead of like, you know, a concrete mixer at Culver's, and you would feel better about yourself.
I'm gonna give the crepe a 9 out of 10. It's very good. I like it.
Okay, so let's end this story. So at this, damn, okay.
I was really excited.
So anyways, at this point, the boat has cracked in half and the boat is now vertical, like sinking into the Atlantic Ocean. So he's like, oh, I gotta get out of this and try to survive, you know? So he stumbles his way back up to the deck and he is climbing his way up to the stern, or which is the top of the ship. He harnesses himself to a railing on the ship, and just like a stripper on a bachelorette party, he was going down. I'm talking like Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball type of glide.
Stripper that's working the day shift on Tuesday in Wyoming.
Exactly.
Like, I gotta get this money.
And everyone is freaking out because it's pitch black. They're in this cold ocean. People are dying left and right. You know, we got Jack and Rose over here crying about their forbidden love on one side. We got people dying on the other side. We have rich people complaining that they have to sit next to an Italian on a lifeboat. But Charles was not impacted by this. He was like, look, I am the ultimate seaman. And you know what they say about seamen? We got strong stroke game. So he was backstroking, breaststroking, butterfly.
That's the brush stroke.
He was playing sharks and minnows with like the lifeboat.
Hitting the gritty in the water.
Exactly. He was saying the PTO that he never got. And he was in the water for 2.5 hours until he was eventually picked up by a lifeboat that was eventually picked up by the Carpathia, which is the rescue boat from the Titanic.
Damn.
And then he got checked up by a doctor because he was in the ocean for so long. And the only thing that he came out of this with was sore feet, and his grew at least 3 inches longer.
That's a real historical fact, you guys. You can look that up.
And the doctors told Charles that the reason why he survived with pretty much nothing crazy is because his blood alcohol level was so high that it kept him alive even though he was in the freezing water for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
You know, most people were suffering from PTSD after the Titanic. Charles didn't give a He was like, no, this is not gonna stop me from being the ultimate seaman, okay? I survived the Titanic. I eventually did anal. I lived for what I needed to live. And that is the end of the story.
Wow, he got to have anal at the end too.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.
See you next time on Roasting History!